Hi there, it's time for Whistle Watch already. Well, don't let me hold you up any longer. Let's get started. Well, yeah, welcome to Whistle Watch. A lot of brilliant matches this weekend. I'll be casting my eye over Colby's yellow card. I'll also be looking at some decisions in the Women's Rugby World Cup, and I'll be previewing the upcoming fixtures this weekend as well. But let's get started with my favourite part of Whistle Watch, which is your Emirates fans questions. Right then, the first question is from David Michael Hurley. Does the weather conditions ever become a factor in mitigations? You know what, that's a very, very good question actually. I suppose it does in one sense, but games are different when the weather is bad. So if it's really wet and windy, you may have, some scrums, for example, may actually slip because the surface is wet and slippery and it causes a slip. So you may see a few more resets in the scrums because it's difficult to keep your footing. But certainly it does play a factor sometimes in the game, yeah. Bruce Wilson. Nigel, if his foot is in touch when he tips the ball back into play, what's the right call, please, sir? Oh, sir. Is it effectively a quick line out? No, it's not a quick line out. He doesn't try to catch the ball. He just knocks or kicks the ball backwards. Then it becomes play on. Now, if he tried to go and gather the ball and his foot was in touch, then it would be in touch. But if you're knocking the ball backwards, obviously if you knock it forward, it becomes a knock on. Then it is play on. But the law specifically says a player who doesn't try to catch the ball may kick or knock a ball backwards even though the player has a foot or maybe in touch. Walk around. Walk around. That's a good one. You just know Nigel Owen's cows don't push their luck. They're honest, hard-working, lovely cows. They are lovely cows, yeah. I'm not sure they're hard-working wine, but they are lovely cows. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for your Emirates fans question. Now then, let's move on to Whistle Watch. Right then, time for Whistle Watch. Let's look at Justin Tipperick's try in the Wales-New Zealand game. Congratulations as well to Wayne Barnes on his 100th cap. About time you caught me up as well. So the key thing is here, did Tipperick lose control of that ball? So when he actually grounded the ball, was the ball still in his hand, or was it going away from his hand, which means if he hadn't grounded it, he would have lost control of it. It's a very, very tight one. Some people saying no, some people saying yes. But when you look at the footage, I was thinking, do you know what? I think that could be a try. So Wayne Barnes' decision was a try, and it's very difficult to argue, unless you were a New Zealander, that it wasn't as well. It really was one of those which could have gone either way. Okay, New Zealand-France Women's, what a game this was. The semi-final of the Women's World Cup. Oh, what a game. Credit to both teams. Now then, let's look at the yellow card with NDI. As the referee judged it, correctly so, you can see the main impact is the shoulder to the shoulder chest area. So the direct contact is not with the head, but centimetre higher, and the player would have been in trouble. So because most of the force is coming in here to the upper body, to this area, rather than directly to the head, then that's how the officials arrived at the yellow card. So a very understandable decision, and I would say on context of it, the correct decision as well. Another one in the New Zealand-France game, Tomata yellow card. Again, very similar to what we saw in the first one. This one was maybe a little bit more straightforward. When I say straightforward, it's not easy to make a decision in that moment out on the field where the eyes of the world and the eyes of the stadium are looking at you. But I think this one, if you're watching this one, you can see that most of the force is again with the area of the shoulder to the chest, shoulder to the top of the chest. So no direct contact to the head, lowers the degree of danger, and then again a correct yellow card. But let's make one thing clear here as well. If you're going in high like this to make the tackles and you get it wrong, you're going to be in trouble and you're going to be looking at a red card. But in this second one, you can see slightly more of an attempt to go down lower to make the tackle in this one. So there is an attempt by the player to actually aim lower, and that's what we want players to do. Get the dip, get down, aim lower. It then reduces the risk of getting that head contact or you getting it wrong. But in these two incidents, I would say a correct yellow card in both. Now then, one that got you all talking and asking the question out there, the Colby yellow card in the Ireland-South Africa game out in Dublin. So you have two players involved in this. So there comes a little bit of mitigation in it because there's another player making a tackle as well. That can change the dynamics of the tackle. But here, Colby clearly does lift the player above the horizontal and turns him. And he then, the key thing here, he doesn't make an effort to bring him back down safely. So the referee's looking at this and saying, well, to me, I am looking at a yellow card here because the player does land a little bit safer than he would have done on his neck and his head. So when you listen to how the referee is reviewing this, you are sitting there and going, okay, I can understand that and I can follow that and I can accept that. So on this instance here, referee calls it, sees it and makes the decision, so it's a correct yellow card. USA, Kenya, Mahone yellow card, right. Different to the Colby one, this is non-negotiable. The clear message here to all the referees from World Rugby and everybody involved in the game that this type of action should be a red card. He comes in at speed, has a clear sight of view so he can clearly see what's in front of him, and he comes in and makes contact with the head. That is dangerous and that is a clear red card. This is not a maybe a yellow or maybe a red. This is a clear red card. We need to get this type of action out of the game. Right, some wonderful matches coming up this weekend as well. Let's have a look at them and I'll give you a little bit of preview and my predictions for the games to come. Okay, now then let's start with the big one, and that is the Women's World Cup final, England against New Zealand. Oh, I think this is going to be some game. Do you know what? I think I'm going to go for England. They are a very, very good team, and that's taking nothing away from a very, very good New Zealand team. It's going to be tight, it's going to be close, but I think England just. Ireland, Fiji. Oh, Fiji showed some glimpses of playing well in Murrayfield, but I just think Ireland are too strong for them. Interesting to see what Team Ireland pick. Do they change? Do they make changes? And I'm not going to say they're going to hammer Fiji, but I think Ireland will be comfortable winners in Dublin. England against Japan. Oh, England will be seething after the weekend, so expect them to come out all guns blazing against Japan. Japan can play some rugby. I think it'll be a great game, but I can't see England losing 2 on the bounce. Wales, Argentina. Well, now then, do Argentina come to Cardiff as favourites? Wales showed glimpses of what they can do, particularly behind. Some nice tries scored last week, but overall, they will be very, very disappointed. I think I'm going to go for Wales just. I think this week we'll see a different Wales, hopefully. And I wonder if that game in Twickenham last week has really taken a lot out of Argentina. And I remember they played on a Sunday as well, one less day to recover. Who knows? Wales, just. France against South Africa. Oh, this is going to be a great game. Is this a game? Last World Cup's champions against maybe everybody's favourites for the next World Cup. I think France. France in Paris will beat South Africa. It'll be tough, it'll be brutal. I've refereed this game a couple of times and it's a tough, tough game to referee. But I think France at the moment are really on top form. Scotland against New Zealand in Murrayfield. Never beaten New Zealand. Could this be the first time? There were stops and starts last week against New Zealand side who seems to be picking up momentum. And I know people are saying this is not quite the best New Zealand team that's been around, but I think New Zealand will be too strong for Scotland in Murrayfield. So, those are my predictions. Do you agree? I'm sure a lot of you don't. If you don't, or if you do, let me know in the comments below. So, here's hoping for another fantastic weekend of rugby. Thanks for watching Whistle Watch. Send your questions in, and I look forward to answering them next week. See you soon.